Good morning. I hope you had a really good half term and welcome back to school for the second half term of autumn. We're going to be thinking a little bit about different celebrations that take place in autumn today. But first, we begin with our liturgy. In the beginning, when God created all things, he said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Let your light shine. God is light, and in him there is no darkness. Let your light shine. Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. Let your light shine." It's worth remembering that we do our liturgy, we say those words together, and we light the candle to remember that God is light, to remember God's presence with us in times of difficulty and times of goodness, when things are all going right. He's always there. And when we do things together to remind ourselves of truth. But today we're going to be thinking of another festival that we remember. I wonder whether looking at these pictures, you can think of any events that we celebrate during the autumn. Some of them you may well have celebrated only last night or this last weekend. I wonder whether those pictures bring any of those to mind. So stop the video and share with your teachers if you know what any of those events are called, and maybe more importantly, why people do what they do. And I hope that maybe this one here, with lights, little candles, a bit like we've just been doing, I hope some of you will remember that that is to celebrate Diwali, which is a Hindu tradition, a Hindu festival. And here, I don't know if any of you remember this. I have done an assembly on this before. That's the festival of Sukkot. And Sukkot is a Jewish festival primarily. And it helps the Jewish people remember what their ancestors did, living in tents when they were looking for a land of their own. Those events, Diwali, those festivals, Diwali and Sukkot, they are celebrated on different days. It depends on the calendar. But these two are celebrated on the same day every year. This one, trick or treat. I wonder how many of you went out in the streets of Winslow, where you live, trick or treating. It's a way of celebrating and remembering Halloween, which is on the 31st of October. That was yesterday, if you're watching this on Monday. This one, this picture, it's celebrating all the saints. It's called All Saints' Day. And that's celebrated in the church every 1st of November, which is today. So celebrations are a link to our past and a reminder of events that maybe took place years ago. And it's an opportunity for communities to celebrate and come together and remember. Most of those celebrations will remember a specific event. And today, people are just performing rituals or ceremonies as a remembrance. So in Sukkot, some Jewish people will set up tents in their gardens. And for Diwali, some people will retell the story of Rama and Sita, which I know so many of you know, maybe using puppets. Well, the 5th of November, if you remember my first opening slide today, That has a unique story behind it as well. I wonder if any of you know what the 5th of November is commonly called. Again, stop this video and share with each other if you know what the 5th of November is celebrating and maybe why. There's some pictures to help you. It's bonfire night, of course, and we are having our own celebration at Winslow of bonfire night. It's going to be on the 6th of November, and the Lions, the Winslow Lions, are coming to organise that, and they'll be using our school grounds starting at 6 o'clock with the lighting of the bonfire, I think at 6:40. So do come along. We've let your parents know on Dojo, but just give them a little reminder on Saturday, 6th of November at school. So what is the 5th of November? What is bonfire night all about? This little poem, quite a long one, but I can always remember just these first few lines. Remember, remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. It goes on and I can't remember any more of it. It's a folk song written at the time. The original event that we remember as bonfire night took place in 1605. That's over 400 years ago. The details as to why a number of people would want to blow up the king at the time, James I, and the House of Lords, well, they're a little complicated. But on the 5th of November, which was the state opening of Parliament, a man called Guy Fawkes, here he is, he was found down in the cellars of the Houses of Parliament with barrels that were full of explosives, full of gunpowder. Well, somebody had tipped them off and the guards went down and they managed to arrest him, and then he was brought to trial. Here we are in the January. So the plot to blow up the king and the government had been stopped, and all across London they lit celebration fires. And in the January, when he was brought to trial, Parliament passed a special Thanksgiving Act, and they declared the 5th of November as the annual celebration. Originally, there were prayers and bell ringing across the country, and then that developed into the practices we have today. When people light a bonfire, sometimes they have a Guy Fawkes that they stick on the bonfire, and they have lots of fireworks of celebration. So remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. And we are not forgetting it as we celebrate on the 6th of November here at school. So bonfire night, a reminder of this event. Some of us probably don't know an awful lot about the event itself. We might remember about Guy Fawkes, but there was a much bigger plot. It'd make a really good film. And during this week, I know other teachers are going to be talking a little bit about other people who were involved, so that we can find out as much as we can of the events that are celebrated today. And some of us, well, we won't really be interested that much, and we'll just have time with family and friends and maybe toffee apples and other things that we connect and link to this event. But whatever you do, I hope you have a really good bonfire night and that you do find it interesting to explore some of the traditions that take place. As we come to reflect, I wonder what events in the past maybe you celebrate as part of your religion, maybe as part of your family tradition. We used to have a celebration every year of climbing Snowdon, a mountain in Wales. We did it every year for about 10 years. It was a tradition. Another tradition we had was having Jack and Ellie's ice creams in Scarborough. You may do similar traditions in your family. I wonder if you've got customs that you practice that directly remember an event in the past. And whether you know the full story. It's interesting to maybe talk to your grandparents about some of the events that are linked to things that you celebrate. Do you think it's important to remember the past in this way? Or do we just move on? I think it's good to know why we do celebrate certain things. So let's just close our eyes, and I'm going to lead us in a prayer. If you want to join in with me, then say Amen at the end. Dear God, we're thankful for events and celebrations that take place in our communities, times that we can spend with our families and friends, but also times that we can reflect on what's important to us. Help us to enjoy our celebrations of the past. Amen. And we say together the Lord's Prayer, which is a really ancient prayer that helps us to link with Christians through all the years, over the last 2,000 years perhaps. You've said this prayer, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So we're going to move on now to our Child of the Week celebration. It's worth just reminding ourselves why we have our Child of the Week. It's linked to our rainbow. See behind me, let your light shine. And it's a way of celebrating those children who have been showing our values, those values of kindness, honesty, forgiveness, saying sorry, and learning, loving our learning. So who are the people we're celebrating this week? Well, in year 1, Miss Berman has chosen Cameron, and Miss Marsden has chosen Grace. Well done to both of you. Moving into year 2, Miss Franklin has Ben as her Child of the Week, and Evie is Child of the Week for Mrs. Jakes and Mrs. Walker. In year 3, Grace is Child of the Week for Mrs. Epps and Miss Poole, and Aaron has been chosen by Miss Crofts. In year 4, Miss Lefebvre has chosen Talia, and Mr. Wright has chosen Lottie. Well done to both of you. In year 5, Mrs. O'Donoghue says a big well done to Lucy, and Mr. Boyer has chosen Maisie. I'm pretty sure there's quite a few Maisies, but you'll find out in due course. And then in year 6, Miss Greenhill has Rowan as her Child of the Week, and Jake is Child of the Week for Mr. Niall. So a really big well done to all of you for the different values that you have shown in your lives, shining brightly amongst our community and hopefully at home and in the wider community as well. So we go out into the week, and I'm going to remember today to share that screen. And so I say, go in the light and the peace of Jesus, in the name of Christ. Amen. I hope you have a really good first week back, a week where you show all of our values and you love your learning. See you around.